Well, good morning. This is early in the morning, about 3:20. Have my coffee in hand, and I just wanted to reply to one of my videos that I think was pretty much right on the mark, because I had made a comment about fanatical religiosity or something to that effect coming into possession of apocalyptic weaponry. And the comment was from Tanzer, I think is the name of the person, who felt that that had already occurred with the United States, because we had wreaked havoc through quite a bit of the world, especially in South America and other places. And he mentioned Nicaragua, Chile, and others. And I should have realized when I made that statement that that was absolutely correct, that such things had already happened. We might even go back further than that in our dealings with Native American nations in this country when we decided on our westward expansion. How we dealt with the American Indians can best be described as something we would have hung Nazi leaders for had they done the same thing and lost World War II. And eventually, and of course they did lose World War II, and we did hang some of their leadership. Some of them, of course, we incorporated into our intelligence operations during the so-called Cold War as part of our CIA. That didn't seem to bother the CIA nor the American government very much. And the way that it works is that you build a multi-layered management system so that the top layer doesn't really know what the bottom layer is doing, just as long as the results are the same, and that we get access to the materials, the supplies, and the trade that we desire. If that means establishing and supporting right-wing dictatorships that kill and torture their own people to stay in power, to make for a better investment environment for the United States corporations, which over the years have evolved into global corporations, which are transnational. And of course, the last evolutionary process has been that the 8 financial institutions, which have pretty much refinanced our entire economy along lines of high interest loans, are now controlling the country. So this is very interesting when you think about it, and certainly as far as whether it's connected with religious fanaticism or not, that may or may not be true, and that's cyclical in nature in this country. Sometimes you go right-wing, sometimes you go left-wing, but the goal is still the same, to basically control the world. When you look back at 1945, the war ended with the United States as the only nuclear power who had used the bomb twice on Hiroshima and Nagasaki without too much consideration whatsoever, and had managed to actually drop the first bomb without testing it first in a bomb range to make sure it would work. We had used a device called tickling the dragon's tail to calculate at what point the nuclear reaction would take place when 2 fissionable pieces of material would be brought together at a certain velocity from a certain distance within a certain amount of time. So time, distance, and velocity was at work to determine that, not a actual bomb test as such. The plutonium bomb presented different problems because of the use of a explosive reflector with a certain type of explosive in order to bring about the critical mass by imploding a piece of plutonium into itself at a certain velocity, and therefore bringing about a critical mass, and that was the Nagasaki bomb. That bomb actually, that specific type of bomb actually was tested in Los Alamos in July of 1945. So with that, we had come onto the scene by way of solving a problem in physics to be the most powerful nation on the face of the earth in its entire history, on air, land, and sea. Today, we are the most powerful nation on earth, air, land, sea, space, and cyberspace. It may very well be that we have long since reached our pinnacle in this, possibly since 2001, and may be on our way down on the other side of the mountain by now. Whether that is true or not, it remains to be seen. What effect it will have on the world remains to be seen. But I think one thing that has always been true since the end of the first war with Saddam Hussein over his invasion of Kuwait, is that when the Indian Chief of Staff of the Indian Army was asked what lessons were learned from this war, he answered that do not confront the United States in any serious way unless you have nuclear weapons, or words to that effect, that the predominance of nuclear weapons makes it necessary in order for the United States to treat a country seriously as far as in the game of world dominance and trying to basically survive. This may change in the future. Now, who knows? But I don't think it will. I think the power game will continue on until the very end. We'll see what happens. You take a look at who has nuclear weapons now, such as Pakistan, India, both of whom are willing to go to war with each other if necessary over the possession of Kashmir, which is a good food growing area, something that is of vital importance. Pakistan also finds it vitally important to have a friendly Afghanistan on one side so that it can confidently face off against India on the other side. India, of course, sees Pakistan as an anathema and would like to see it cease to exist as far as that's concerned. So the secession of Baluchistan from Pakistan would probably destroy the country and create a bloc that would include southern Afghanistan and that province in something like a Taliban state, a greater Taliban state, so to speak, permanently set across the route of the natural gas pipeline coming from the periphery of Eurasia. Well, I've said quite a bit of things here and kind of rambled on. That's pretty much my style, is rambling on and bringing a lot of stuff into the mix that probably doesn't have to do with the main subject. And I wanted to thank Tanzer for bringing that up, and I'll call this video at an end. See how it plays out.